And welcome. All right, welcome into our North Amherst studios for Francis Beck, Tim Chifa, Joe Daniel. This is the 2020 Class A Far West Regional Football halftime report sponsored by Howard Hanna. And at the half, it is the Jamestown Red Raiders getting the score in the final seconds of the half. They lead Canandaigua 21-14. And guys, I'll start with this. I think for a lot of the half, you can make the case Canandaigua was outplaying the Red Raiders, but you know what? The Red Raiders had opportunities, and they took advantage of them.
Yeah, Butera really got going in the last two drives. He had a long touchdown run. We talked about the run at the end. The biggest play of the game, though, was Canandaigua had the ball 4th and goal. They fumbled it, and then Raiden White had scored to get that first touchdown. But an interesting first half. Butera really got going. It's huge that they have a 7-point lead with the ball to come back in the third quarter. They picked it up at the end of the second quarter, and then they deserve to be up by 7.
I'll tell you, I give all the credit to the Jamestown coaching staff. I mean, we were going back and forth. Should they kick the field goal? You know, the play-by-play announcers, Tom, and they were going back and forth. Should they kick the field goal? Should they go for it? And you know, I give them the credit in the world. Fourth down and 1 with 2 seconds left. They give the ball to their best athlete, their best player, let him kind of pick where he wants to go, and take a really big 21-14 lead going into halftime. But I mean, what a difference, Francis, between our games this week and last week, where, you know, 2 for 2 so far at halftime, where it's anyone's ball game, back and forth football game. 4 of the 5 games last week were pretty much over at halftime last week, unfortunately, if we're being honest. But I'll tell you, the stars, if you will, are out to play tonight. I mean, you know, Trey Drake, obviously Tara, but also Boldrin for the quarterback for Canandaigua. I mean, this is a great football game. This is what it's all about this time of year. This is what we hope for. And I'm really excited for the second half. I mean, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but who had the ball last won the last game. And we're kind of trending in that same kind of area again. But that's what it's all about. This is why we're here. This is why we like doing this job, right?
Joe, I think you were taking notes. Can you just quickly go over the scoring highlights?
I got some of them. Raiden White had a fumble recovery in a 4th and goal.
That was for a Jamestown touchdown.
Yes, the 7-0. It was about 75 yards by the time he picked it up. Ryan Gavette, 39 yards to tie it at 7. Boldrin, the QB for Canandaigua, 14-7. The long TD by Butera to make it 14-14. And then Jamestown got a big stop with 3:18 to go. And Drake made a great throw to Freeney, a long pass. And that led up to the chance that the 1 yard for the 4th and goal for Butera to make it 21-14. So that was a big stop. We talked about it. And guys, we also talked about how the field goal or to go for a touchdown. And what do we all agree? Touchdowns are going to win this game, and they made the right call. Give it to your best players, Tim said, and take your chances. And they were rewarded. Yeah,
and Butera, not only just a great play on 4th down, but I mean, guys, the way he is turning the corner tonight, like he is like he's on a different level right now. He really is. I mean, he truly could. He could truly score every time he touches the football. He's that special. He's that good. Francis, you mentioned that they seem to be having more success going to the outside than going up the middle. And I think a lot about it is probably Canandaigua probably game plan for that a little bit and probably stack the inside a little bit. So I think Butera is kind of taking what they're giving him. And you see when he turns the corner, I mean, good luck trying to tackle that kid. We saw how big he was last week, right? He's a big kid. He's not just fast. He's big. And he's a very special player. And, you know, this is a great football game. This is 2 very good teams. It's unfortunate that one has to lose because there is 2 good teams that we've seen play all year so far in the first half.
Tim, you mentioned pregame. This, Trey Drake hasn't really had to show an awful lot, but he is a very good quarterback. And I think he's made a couple of big throws, including on that last scoring drive. What have you seen from his performance in the first half?
Well, I think first and foremost, he's been extremely patient. And one of the things that's hard for a high school quarterback, and the things that separate a good high school quarterback from an average one, is reading the defense and going through his progressions. Okay, a lot of quarterbacks can go out and sling it, can throw it around, but it takes a special quarterback at this level to look off the first receiver, look off a second, and he's really just taking what the defense is giving him. He's made some big throws downfield. He's also made 3 or 4 just kind of what makes it really simple. It looks simple, like 12-yard out patterns, but those are keeping the chains moving, keeping that offense off the field for Canandaigua.
Defensively, I don't know where I was going to go with this point. Joe, where were you going to go? Turn over to Joe.
I know usually my big mouth, I chirp in, but no, I mean, you asked the question, Francis. You're the host here. What are your thoughts? What you want me to answer?
Just defensively, what have you noticed about the way Jamestown is stopping Canandaigua? I mean, we talked about it pregame. We got Brylan Bullen, the quarterback, also the leading rusher, Ryan Gavette, and they pretty much kind of kept these guys in check.
Yeah, they have. They're going to get their yards. They're going to get their points, right? I mean, they average over 40 points a game. That 4th and 19, though, that they got, I mean, Jamestown really wants to stop it, but you came close stopping there. You forced a punt. And when you get that opportunity and you get the ball back, take advantage of it. And they have, because they forced a punt, right, with 3 minutes, 38 seconds to go, and they got a touchdown off it. So any stop that they can get, they've got to take advantage of it, and they did, and that's why they're up by 7. And then the one mistake that they made on the bad snap, they scored a touchdown off of it. So it's the little things that Jamestown's doing. That's why they're winning.
And you know what? And there was a bad snap out that drive before that. I think that's what led to the 4th and 19, and then another bad snap. One guy who's really impressed for the Braves is Jackson Grant. He's been really difficult to turn down. There have been a couple of times they've done those wide receiver screens, or maybe it's a run to the outside, where Canandaigua should only get a couple of yards, but it's 2nd and 3rd efforts, they're getting a bunch of plays, or they're just flat out breaking tackles at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and it's rare for a high school game in the first half to have, I think, 3 or 4 lead changes already. This has really been back and forth, and Jamestown went up 7-0, and then it was 7-7, then 14-7 Canandaigua, and now 21-14 Jamestown. So it's been back and forth really the whole game. And I think what's really going to come down to, Francis, I think, is who's going to make the least amount of mistakes in the second half. You mentioned two bad snaps that forced the 4th and 19, then also forced the fumble. It's going to be little things like that could separate these two, because they really are evenly matched. They have absolute stars all over the field on both sides of the ball. There's so much hitting going on. It's a hard hitting game. It's a well played football game. So those kind of games, it usually comes down to little things like who doesn't make mistakes, who doesn't make penalties. Don't be surprised if it doesn't come down to who misses an extra point, who makes an extra point. So far it's 5 for 5 with extra points. That's pretty rare, to be honest, in high school football. So it's going to come down to little things like that, in my opinion, that, who could separate themselves and who's going to make the adjustment here at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Finally, before we go, I'm going to turn to Joe and then to Tim. We'll start with you. If you're talking to Coach Langworthy right now, what's your message to the Red Raiders at halftime?
Well, I'll try not to throw any flag football references, but if you're Jamestown, you said, right?
Jamestown. Yeah, I'm going to ask you, Jamestown. Tim, you'll take
if you're Jamestown, I mean, first of all, enjoy the moment. Sometimes we forget, these are still high school kids, and this is high school football, and it's a big moment for them. Control your emotions. You've got 24 minutes to go. Let's protect the ball. Let's be smart out there. Let's not take any dumb penalties. They took a personal foul in the first half. Just be smart with the football. You have the lead. Take advantage of every play, whether you're on defense or offense, and make the most of it.
Yeah, I think if you're at Canandaigua, I think this drive right here could set the tone for the whole game. You just got scored on with no time left on the clock. To lose the lead there at halftime, you got to come out defensively, get a big stop, and then I'm putting my best defensive player, whether it's a linebacker, I think you got to start shadowing Botero at this point, because he's just killing us all over the field. I'm as good as a player as Drake is. I want to take away Botero, and I want to see if Drake can beat me at this point.
Hey guys, remember, before we go, last game, Randolph had the lead. And Oakville tried to do a pooch kick. They got the ball.
Yep.
They set the tone by getting a score there. And you wonder if Canandaigua saw that and be like, hey, why don't we try that? Because, you're down. You have a chance. Let's see what they do on the special teams. Maybe something tricky.
Or better yet, did Jamestown see that and now they're on high alert? We're going to make sure that better not
You got to
happen.
look at it both ways.
Yeah, it better not happen to us. So again, halftime right now of the Class A Far West Regional game. Right now, it's the Jamestown Red Raiders leading Canandaigua. I got that wrong all day. Canandaigua 21-14. It's the Red Raiders on top. For Joe Daniel, Tim Chifa, I'm Francis Beck. You're watching the Howard Hanna halftime show. We'll be back after the game with post-game coverage of this game. And again, you can watch this game. It's going to be on NFHS as well. I'll drop that link in our comments in just a minute here. So enjoy the second half and tune back in for post-game coverage.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com, ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. A few clicks will show you the sales price you can expect for your home. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. So if it's time to sell your home, visit howardhanna.com today, and we'll match you with a local Howard Hanna agent to sell your home fast.
I love being home.
Avoiding care can lead to worse problems. Don't delay care. We're here for you. Western New York Immediate Care provides quick, quality care for non-emergent injuries and illnesses. Go to WNYimmediatecare.com for more information.